and welcome to Six Figure Signature Offers, the podcast for women in business who want to create brands that become the hot tamale of their industry and sold out scalable offers that bring home the bacon without burning them out. I'm your host, online business strategist Robin Birkin. I've gone from managing 8-figure marketing budgets and big teams to creating 2 multi-6-figure businesses in part-time hours by design. If you're ready to attract Cloud9 clients in droves, sell out your scalable offers, and not bring your laptop to the beach, then welcome, let's go. Hello, I am so excited that you are here. Quick personal update from me, and if you want to see or come along for the journey with me, then make sure you're on my Instagram stories. But we are on the hunt right now for a border collie, and oh my god, it has been such a journey. Breeders in Perth have far more demand, it seems, than actual puppies, and obviously we are committed to going through an ethical breeder, so it's been a little bit of a journey. You are welcome to follow along on my Instagram stories. We are still continuing the renovation, and I guess basically I just thought to myself, how can I add more chaos and less sleep into my life? And it feels like getting a border collie was the answer to that. So if you want to follow along with all the craziness, then definitely come and visit my Instagram stories regularly because it's a journey. In other news, I also have a free workshop coming up that I think is going to be so valuable to you. And this is not just like a masterclass, this is a workshop, it's free, and where you will plan out the next 12 months of offers and promotions. And this episode today is kind of related to that, and I'll speak about it a little bit later. But the other thing that has happened is that if you want to learn exactly how to get clients and sales from Instagram, then you may wish to join my mini program called Traction. It has just launched. It is a private podcast which you can binge in just over an hour, but also it's not just a private podcast. It is also a content dashboard with a load of content like already preloaded, ready to go in the calendar, locked and loaded for you. And also these whopper like mega guides that are grab and go on exactly how to edit your videos, how to create the content that sells, how to create endless content ideas, all of that. It's on special now, and it's a really teeny tiny offer. So check the show notes for that. For any of it, come and check my Instagram. That is always where you'll sort of get the best live sense, or make sure that you're on my email list. So getting into today's episode, I wanted to speak about how to casually sell your one-to-one offers. Now, we have regular sort of virtual retreats inside the mastermind, and a few months ago in February, we ran a virtual retreat that was all about high ticket sales. So how to sell, serve and deliver in your one-to-one and premium containers such as masterminds. So these are a little bit different to things like online courses, because typically these are going to be containers where they're not necessarily self-study. Someone is typically going to apply for that service. So we went through a full half day of what that looks like, how to build demand for it, how to sell it, how to ensure that people feel really trusted and safe in making that investment with you, and then obviously produced all of the templates. And one of the parts that was the most impactful was when we spoke about how to casually sell your one-to-one offers off the back of your live launches. Now, this is sort of related to the workshop that I'm running. It's a free workshop again, and if you check the show notes on my Instagram, you'll grab all of the details. But it is a little bit of a misconception that, and you get to run your business whatever way you choose. So if you're like, I don't want to do that, great, good for you, because when I had my first life coaching business, I did the same thing. I was like, I just want this online course. And so I fired all of my one-to-one clients, and then I very, very rarely, I did take maybe a couple, but I very rarely took any more one-to-one clients. So you might be in the same boat, but if you're listening to today, my sense is that you do still offer one-to-one services, and you potentially do still want to offer one-to-one services. So It's a misconception that, if you launch a scalable offer, that means everything else has to go. You may not want that. You may want some diversity in your revenue. You may want to still have that high touch. And I run the mastermind, and my mastermind right now, there will be a cap when I won't be able to do this in the future. But for everyone who is joining us right now, they receive quarterly one-to-one calls, and you might like having that high touch, direct, live opportunity to have that feedback with people and that connection, that human connection. So if that is you, you should understand that live launching is the GOAT still. You can absolutely live launch your one-to-one offers, but what also happens is when you live launch things like your online courses, your signature programs, it does something that I call stirring the pot. It stirs the pot for all of your other offers. And I had a client called Emma, and she launched a course, but what she found is that every time she launched her course didn't really get, a massive amount of sales, but it still stirred the pot for her one-to-one offers. I have a client, Mel. She has an online course and lots of mini courses all about art and finding your voice and finding an art practice that feels incredible for you. And same thing with her. She notices that when she launches her signature program, it stirs the pot and she gets all of this flood of sales for her low ticket offers. And that's because people start nosing around. They start looking at what you've got. They start paying attention because your live launch creates momentum. It creates visibility. It creates belief shifting. It creates affinity with you as a brand. And so if you have one-to-one offers, live launching your other offers like your signature online course is actually a great way to also create applications into your one-to-one services or masterminds, whatever that may be. So how would you then, off the back of a live launch, casually sell your one-to-one offers? And what I've got for you today is a 5-step process of what that might look like for you. So number one, obviously have a form and price your one-to-one services accordingly. So when you have something like an online course or a scalable offer, it might be a group coaching offer, could be a mastermind, whatever that is, you need your pricing to be congruent with every sort of stage of ascension / proximity to you. So sometimes I'll work with like life coaches, fertility coaches, naturopaths, nutritionists who will launch something like an online course. And let's say that their online course or group coaching program is $997. And then we have a look at what they've been offering for, let's say, 3 months of one-to-one services, and that is also $997. You're going to end up with some incongruence in your offer suite in that people will always create this value assumption in their brains that, well, the one-to-one offer is always going to be the best in inverted commas. So if they're the same price, I'm going to go with the one-to-one offer. And we don't want that, because if you are someone who's creating a signature scalable offer, you're no doubt creating it because you want less time on Zoom and you want a high quality / caliber of clients who are in your one-to-one because you want them to be able to get better and faster results. So the pricing for your whole offer suite may need a rejig. So make sure you have an intake form that appropriately screens people for suitability for your one-to-one services, and then consider your cap. How many people are you going to have at any one time? For me, I know that I can take only 2 to 4 one-to-one clients, especially also because inside the mastermind, I have already a high level of high touch service that I offer, but also make sure that you've priced that appropriately. Now, the other reason why you might want to price that appropriately is because there's always going to be about 10% of your audience who prefer one-to-one services. For some people, that's just a preference or a belief that they have, that like a limiting belief that an online course can't be as good. And that's a limiting belief that they have to potentially get over themselves, but something that you could potentially address in your launches, because that's 100% obviously not the case. But what you may wish to have is for the people who are joining you at a one-to-one level, you might consider that they may be people who are more advanced or in a different and more premium audience segment. So let me give you another example. So I worked with an incredible client called Emma, who at the time was working with teachers on how to create regulated classrooms that weren't necessarily reward based, but how to get everyone regulated, how to calm the classroom, how to yourself as a teacher feel regulated, right? So she had this online course. It was incredible. Like the demand for this course was next level, ninja at creating leads, getting people through the doors. But what we brainstormed when we created her Sweet 6 blueprint, so every time someone joins us in the Peace and Profit Mastermind, I go through and I will have a look at like, what is the current offer suite? Where can I pinpoint opportunities for new/better revenue? What might the 12-month trajectory and goals for that look like? And then plot that out over a 12-month period. So I call it a Sweet 6 blueprint. Or it's like a business strategy/funnel blueprint. And it's like a big sigh of relief when you have someone who has that second pair of eyes that is highly strategic, kind of lay out the exact plan and the gaps for you. Big relief. So anyway, Emma joined and I was like, hang on a second. A couple of things. Number one, teachers typically from the school have personal development budgets. So we also need to be speaking to the schools to bulk enroll a number of their teachers, every sort of cohort into this, and be reserving a certain amount of budget, which teaching schools usually start to work on their budgets for the next year around about August. So I was like, let's leverage that. But the other thing is that we looked at a program that was called Lead with EQ, right? Like Lead with Emotional Intelligence, because there is going to be a segment of her audience who are gunning for executive positions inside schools. They want to be principals, maybe they want to join some of the bigger associations, maybe they want to get onto boards, and they want to add to their resume to become whatever, the department head, the principal, that they have taken this Lead with EQ program so that they can then take that and pass that on to the whole school culture. And that it's very easy for us to showcase the reward of that, because obviously the reward is the promotion / the increased revenue that comes along with that, right? So in this, what we sort of identified is that there's a different sort of segment of person. Like I said, my other client, Mel, who creates art courses, a lot of the people who purchase her art courses are retirees, some people who professionally create art, but there's also this opportunity for her to look at professional artists and people who want to showcase in galleries, etc. So sometimes the segment for your one-to-one offer is a little bit different / more advanced and has this ability to pay a premium for your one-to-one services. And so make sure that you've sort of considered what does that look like in conjunction with your one-to-one offers. Consider your cap, consider the pricing for that, and then you would have a form there that people can apply to work with you and that kind of ensures that they are the right fit. So you may, after that application, then invite them to a call, but you don't really want to be just jumping on calls with people who are not the right fit or who are not going to ever be the right fit. So step number one, you probably already have this sorted out, but step number two is then to make sure that either alongside your launch or immediately after your launch, you make sure that it is very visible that you have one-to-one services. So think of all the places that the people who are now engaged, who would be a Cloud9 client for your one-to-one offer, would be potentially looking. So remember, it stirs the pot. These people are all going to be like, oh, like my ears are pricked. I'm interested. What does she have to offer? So you may make sure that you have updated your link in bio to also include your one-to-one offer. So remembering, we've priced this and positioned this accordingly, so it's not going to clash, or it should not clash with your signature offer. You're going to make sure you have a highlight about this, maybe have a pinned post that showcases your services, all the ways to work with you, so that when people are scouting around, they can see it, right? And then what you are going to want to make sure that you do, so maybe this is likely off the back of your live launch, is, and you should have obviously been doing this for the people who, like for the offer that you had for your signature program as well, but then you shift right after this launch to sharing wins and client stories from people who are in this one-to-one offer. So you come off the back of the launch, and then you're going to start speaking to some of the results, some of the transformations, and some of the things that you do inside your one-to-one container. And you will obviously have that segue with, this is the work we do inside my one-to-one space. I have one availability now. So remembering the cap that we set in step 1, you may have one space available, 2, 3, 4. Then now is the chance to say, I have, this like limited amount of space available. And you'll speak to that in things like your Instagram stories, etc. You may also have a call to action in the footer of the emails that you send. So number 3, obviously, is making sure that you are regularly live launching your signature offer. So you are going to have these quarterly or more live launches of your signature offer. So either 4 times or 6 times a year. Yes, 6 times per year. And right now there are many, many, many people who are running either the weekly webinar format or monthly intakes for their programs. But making sure that you are having that regular cadence, momentum, conversion events into your signature offer, because that is what will stir the pot for your one-to-one clients too. And then closing out that launch. So remembering, you're closing out each launch, and then typically what you are going to have when you close out the launch is potentially a downsell that might be designed to warm up your audience for the next launch. But you may also come out of that launch and go straight into an upsell. So instead of going down to like a $27 offer or something like that, you might say, hey, actually, I'm ready to stack some cash here. And you may go for an upsell into your one-to-one offer. So you close out the launch, and remembering the positioning, the pricing, everything is different for the one-to-one offer, so they don't clash. But you may send out a couple of emails in the 72 hours when your launch closes that actually pitches, I have 2 spaces available, whatever it is, for my one-to-one offer. And then remembering that you're aligned, because you've kind of already set this up on your Instagram feed, etc., to point to the form that you have and the transformation that this offer solves, that it's a perfect time because you've just stirred the pot with your audience. And then number 5, the other thing you may consider doing is a few weeks after you close out that launch, consider privately inviting some of your best students from that signature offer to upgrade. So if you don't have a continuity offer or anything like that, this could be the perfect opportunity for you to send a personal and private invitation to say, hey, amazing, you're now at the next level, and I believe that we could, achieve XYZ inside my one-to-one container. If that's something you're considering, please let me know. You will also make sure that you are seeding that as an opportunity. Number 1, as soon as they join. Number 2, inside their course portal. Number 3, inside their welcome materials, so that there's no ambiguity that this is an option for those people. And then depending on what your signature offer looks like, it could be, 20 to 60 days after they've joined your signature offer, you will make that strategic invitation. And this is all you need to do, because typically you are going to be someone, if you're in my audience, who wants primarily to have scalable revenue, that you are not going to have 10, 20 people at a time inside your one-to-one containers. You're going to have that, just a strategic and scarce number of places available for that container for the right person who is willing to pay a premium price. And so therefore, it's only going to be something that has a small amount of availability. So by just doing these 5 things, especially live launching regularly your signature offer, you will remain full all of the time with your one-to-one space, because that's exactly how we do that. Now, I mentioned my upcoming workshop. I would love for you to attend. It's free, and you will walk away from this workshop with a little bit of the flavor of what I've just spoken about, but you will have a 12-month promotional cadence into your offer. And it's not just about having like live launching and then having a one-to-one offer. It's about other types of offers that would suit other buyer types, but having the ability to stack cash between launches with, number one, resources and products you probably already have, whilst still being able to take time off so that you can increase your revenue month on month and not be reliant on every single launch to go swimmingly well, right? And so what I mean by that is that you will have the opportunity to, even if you have one launch that doesn't meet your expectations, still have revenue to pay yourself, revenue to invest in Facebook ads, because you have a diversified revenue stream on the back end. But on the front end, it's ridiculously simple, because for the majority of time, it's this rinse and repeat live launch structure. So if you would like to join me for free on this workshop, then check the show notes below, come and visit my Instagram or my emails. You will find out all about it, or you can just head to launcheasylife.com/workshop and join me. We're going to plot it all out for you live on the call. It's going to be epic, and I can't wait to see you there. All right, chat soon. Bye for now.